Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's actually going to be a bot taking on a human in another one of these human, or I guess you could call it like For Humanity or whatever games, as we watch people that sent in their replays cast play versus these bots. So a TVZ, Cognite taking on Eris. Those of you that don't know, Eris is pretty much the top bot on the scene, and it's been rather tested in earning that title. Whereas Cognite is a player that I have no idea how good he is, aside from the match I cast previously, which he did pretty well for himself, I'll say. Yeah, I think he did. Which bot did he play? He played versus Canonana, and he did quite well for himself. Now, the drone scout for Eris, checking for proxies. Cognite's playing respectfully, though. We do have speed mining going down for Eris as well, which is quite important, as I did play versus a couple of the bots, but I don't believe they had speed mining on, and a lot of the bots' power comes from that extra mineral income. Like, it really has been a big level up for the bots. Like, for example, right now, Eris, it's got about an extra 200 minerals a minute compared to Cognite, despite having a smaller worker count, which is quite important. That's how Eris is able to macro up so quickly, get a 3-minute hatchery at like a minute 30 or whatever it is, something crazy like that. And then Cognite, they are just going for a Reaper to check things out. Although if you do watch versus these bots, you don't necessarily need to scout, as there's not a ton of cheeses. I don't think Eris ever really cheeses for the most part. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we do get any further into this game, though, make sure to go ahead and click that like button if you haven't already. If we can hit, I don't know, like 20 likes on this video, that would be amazing. Also, leave a comment down below saying more humans, more bots, if you want to see more humans or more bot matches. Looks like Cognite is going to micro their Reaper as well as they can, killing off one link, potentially going to be getting a second, maybe even a drone. We shall see, hunting that drone down and actually going to kill it. So Eris going to get punished a little bit. That Queen tries to shoot the Reaper on its way out, however, she prioritizes laying that creep tumor. So Eris losing a drone at the start of the game is a bit painful. We've also got a Baneling nest on the way for Eris, which seems to be a little unusual for the Zerg bot, dare I say. Like, I feel like it's roaches 99% of the time for the Zerg, so this makes me wonder if it is cooking something up different, or maybe it's just a TVZ thing I don't notice. Anyway, we do have Hellions being produced for Cognite now. The Queen is out on the front lines. Looks like that creep tumor may get shut down. It barely survives. Maybe Cognite can finish that off later when one of the Hellions show up. We do have a Queen popping out at the third base. Going to have to defend her babies as the drone is under fire. Will it transform? No. I believe Eris just runs its drones. I'm not sure it turns them into extractors or spore crawlers. Now, Cognite going for a 1-1-1 build. That is one factory, one barracks, and one starport, making Hellions and a Liberator. Going to be trying to put some pressure on Eris. The Zerg bot has got quite a nice economy going, 34 drones. Not that it hasn't been hindered by the 2 drone kills, so Cognite is playing quite well so far. And then Eris just going to be having Ling speed on the way out, burrows on the way. That will also be important. Multiple Queens are being produced for Eris. Some of the Hellions are going to move on in for Cognite, grab a drone, and then head back on out. So Eris has been taking a little bit of a beating, just a small one at the start of this match, and Cognite is going to invest in that third base, so play this game out a little later. However, we will have to wait and see whether any damage can get done. The Terran players coming on in with these Hellions and Reapers, going to be going for some of the drones, initially targeting the Queen, but then saying, wait a second, maybe I can get some of those. A few Lings do pop out to try and help out with this, and Queen's reposition as it's Ring Around the Rosie as the Hellion and the Reaper are picking up some drones. More Lings are popping out for Eris. That is a total of 7 dead drones, so pretty darn effective harassment so far for Cognite. The Queens, they're kind of missing the memo as they go to spread creep instead of helping their sister. Now, Eris does have that 4th base on the way. It's actually producing some Banelings, interestingly enough. I feel like that's something we don't see Eris do too often. Now, the Hellions are going to be bullying this 4th base. We'll see if Eris can respond to this. Lings are coming forward. Cognite has to micro these. He's not a bot. So that they do have to react to these Lings. So we'll see if he makes any slip-ups, whereas bots, they don't just let things idle. So far, though, the control has been quite good for the Terran player. If you have a guess for what rank the Terran player is, let us know in the comments down below. If I had to guess, I'd say like decently high in Masters from what I've seen. Like, there's not been any major slip-ups. Floating a little bit of money here and there, actually. Yeah, I'd say around Masters somewhere. Now we do have 1-1 on the way for Cognite. Eris does have the 4th base about to finish up. That drone count's going to be going on up. Then we'll just have to wait and see whether Cognite's able to get anything done. So far, though, the army supply is quite low. And oh, look at that, a burrowed Ling being a nuisance. Eris doing one of the things that it does best. This Ling is on the outskirts. We'll see if it can get in and burrow again before that CC lands. Looks like it will not, though. It's just keeping tabs on where everything is. A 5th base is now going up for Eris. Cognite is building up this marine count, though. The 1-1 upgrades will be very big when it's time to go for a push, which shouldn't be too long from now, maybe in a couple minutes once that production really gets rolling. The Terran player may be heading for a bit of a supply block. No, pardon me, as the depot must have just finished up. Evo Chamber going up for Eris. Baneling Speed on the way for Eris. A Liberator Harassment is causing problems, though. Denying mining. A Queen's going to wander in to try and deal with that. However, she's having quite a difficult time. So the Zerg bot has got many a drones just planted like potatoes inside that main base. They do get back to mining once the Liberator pulls on out. So that was quite a big hit to the economy of Eris. But now things are back on track. Looks like Cognite is looking to move out onto the map. Stimpack is done. However, there is no combat shield, no 1-1 just yet. Quite a few medivacs to support these boys. Baneling Speed isn't done for Eris either, so we'll see if Cognite's able to get some damage done. Queens will be able to transfuse each other, keep themselves alive. However, they do delay the transfuse a little bit too much. Banelings are now moving forward. So are some Lings. Queens targeting down a medivac. One Baneling gets quite a nice connection. That's actually quite big for Eris trying to make this defense happen. However, Cognite is doing a good job microing these Marines. Is the macro on point back behind this? Looks like Eris is going for a bit of a Ling run by to get some counter damage done, maybe distract Cognite a little bit. Lots of Queens did perish, lots of Lings have perished trying to make this defense happen. The Terran player had their main base or their 3rd base disrupted a little bit, but the push can still continue on. Eris is down on supply. Baneling Speed is done. Still, though, it's just a trickle effect as far as units coming out for Eris. This Baneling does get a decent connection. However, the bio, I mean, with all these medivacs to support them, and that really is just a fraction of Cognite's army. The rest of it's coming on in. So Eris is really going to need to pull a rabbit out of a hat if it's going to survive in this match. Banelings are just hanging out for now. Lots and lots of Lings are being produced by the Zerg. It's got a fantastic economy. Just the snowball point has never been reached. And now in comes Cognite with Widow Mines, with all these stimmed Marines coming on in. This drop towards the 4th base is still causing problems. What are those Banelings doing? The Banelings are just sitting idle for Eris, which is interesting. But here's the problem, though. As the Marines come in, they're going to be cleaning out the 4th base, the other 4th base. So double-pronged push, having success here as Eris just funnels in its Lings. Widow Mines do go off on this side, but there's still quite a Terran force, and Cognite is looking pretty darn good in this game. It looked like Eris was close to making the snowball happen. Well, to mustering a defense, just it never materialized, and now in comes Cognite pushing into the natural base of this Zerg bot. And all in all, it's looking quite good for the Terran player. So, well done to Cognite for playing both Protoss and Terran, being able to take down the top Zerg bots. Banelings do get connections and clean up that part of the army. However, the Natural's gone, the 3rd is gone, the 5th is gone, so Eris is barely mining. Unless Cognite falls asleep at the wheel, I don't think they'll be in too much trouble. Widow Mines are going off. Maybe there can be some Miracle Baneling connections. There is presently only 9 Banelings out, though, against 48 Marines. Those would have to be quite the connections, as Eris does seem a little bit afraid to go on in with this as well. The drones are just hiding underground. Looks like Eris is going to go for it. Banelings, though, not really hitting what they need to. The rest of the Terran force is coming on in. Cognite has definitely got this one in the bag, I feel. Well done. Just a fairly straightforward 3-base push. Being able to kill Eris. Eris was quite close, I think, to mustering the defense there, but once units just start trickling out, it never really got any better, that's for sure. The Liberator harassment was good too. I know I didn't keep eyes on that the whole game or anything. Eris still making what lings it can. 2-2 upgrades being made. 65 drones still, and just the main base is gone. The natural's gone. And Eris's hopes in this game are gone. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to have your matches versus these bots cast, go ahead and leave it, or go ahead and join the Discord, pardon me, as that's where you can submit replays. There's the link in the description to play versus the bots. Quite a friendly fire Widow Mine going down there. And then, yeah, leave a comment down below if you do enjoy these human versus bot matches. You can leave a like as well, and if you want to support the channel, consider becoming a YouTube member. We've now got to watch, or now we get to watch Cognite clean everything up of Eris. Multiple ghosts are being produced, 2-2 upgrades on the way. The Terran player has got the 4th base up, cleaning out the Ling if there was one there. Taking a 5th will be a pain since there is still burrowed Lings. However, yeah, I think he can probably win this game off of 4 bases if he so chooses. There goes the lair of Eris. Marines stimming all over the place. It is impressive how Eris always tries to rebuild, building a new hatchery, a baneling nest, even getting +1 attack, because why not? And yeah, with another minute or so, I think Eris would have had out some Hydras, some more banelings. Then it probably could have won. Cognite been like, hey, I can expand. I got quite a bit of money in the bank building 4 command centers, yet not being able to take one because there's Lings everywhere. And also very good creep spread by Eris. The last hatchery gonna go down, I believe. GG.